So the first t-shirt design prompt I've got for you for Ideogram 3.0 is this one right here that creates a vintage sunset designs, but it also has some cool star patterns within the vintage sunset. As you can see, some of these results look very interesting. The font as well, a very nice bold looking script font, and obviously you can change out the topic and the phrase right here very easily. It says the cat is sitting in a window frame, which you can just remove that part if you don't need it. For your graphic, I think that just looks a little bit cooler with the cat actually, well, in this case it didn't work that well, but here it actually looks like the cat is looking out at the stars. I also tried it without the window frame. Quick bonus tip, if you type in a new prompt up here and generate it, you can now also just click on creations on the left hand side, and then it'll show you what you've previously generated right here, rather than having to go to the profile every time. This is what it looks like without the window frame in the prompt, and now the cat is not necessarily looking out into the stars, it's more looking forward, but still you've got this nice star effect right here within the vintage sunset graphics. So still a nice result, a fairly simple short prompt, and I get some really good looking results for t-shirts. For prompt number 2, I've got a cute but feral rainbow design right here with the leopard pattern. Cute but feral, obviously the phrase can be exchanged to anything. It's just something that's been very popular on Amazon Merch and Etsy over the past year, the kind of feral niche. But as you can see, these sort of rainbow designs right here look really, really cool. You could also change out the actual colors in the prompt. This one is a little bit longer, but you've got pink wavy arc right here, small pink heart, etc. So the colors are definitely explained within the prompt, and you could exchange those as well if you wanted to target a different niche where you might need a blue rainbow or a purple rainbow, whatever it may be. Some of those awareness niches out there, but I think the style definitely looks really cool. Ideogram doing a great job of these kind of leopard pattern rainbow designs, and also laying out the text very neatly across the top and bottom. For prompt number 3, I've got a very different style right here. This is 80s synthwave design. It also has that chrome style text described in the prompt, so you can definitely see that there's a bit of a cool like shading, like retro shading going on right here. So yeah, definitely very interesting style, very different. It's going to make your design stand out in some of those more retro niches. Of course, with this specific phrase, you could apply this to loads of different animals or other types of things that roll. You can obviously change up the phrase as well within this prompt. It's not too long. It's a very simple prompt, and it can easily be applied to other niches, phrases and topics. And here we've got a vector art design of a bunny sort of blowing a pink bubble gum. It's got leopard sunglasses right here. Very artsy style, but very popular thing with these pink bubble gums right here. Very feminine design style, right? But we've got Mother's Day coming up, so things like this are going to be doing well. This is a little bit more Easter themed, probably going to do better for Easter, but obviously the style itself, you could apply that to other animals as well, or other topics, and maybe add phrases in here as well if you wanted to. It's quite a long and descriptive prompt, but it turns out some really, really good, accurate results. And the only one I don't love is this one because it has kind of the body right here very sharply cut off, but all the other ones where you just have the head, I think turned out great and would be very usable for POD. Just actually these ones are missing the nose a little bit. The nose is a little bit hidden behind the bubblegum, so this result's probably the cutest if you kind of see the nose of the rabbit here as well. But obviously play around with the prompt, change it to other animals, and see if you can enter a bunch of different niches with this style. So this next prompt is going to be good if you have a bit of a pun, a shorter phrase, maybe a subject in there as well, like in this case, the cactus. It's a very short prompt, but it has an interesting style for the text right here described as fun, chunky font. And as you can see, the results all definitely have text that's very chunky. It stands out with some subtle highlights as well. And it's interesting how it's taken the cactus and put it in place of the O right here. That's a very nice touch, pun intended. And yeah, I've typically gotten better results with the design style selected right here. With general, you can still try it out, but it tends to make the layout a little bit less interesting and the text doesn't stand out as much with that. But yeah, I would definitely try this out with all sorts of puns, or, you know, if you have a subject in there, also add it to this prompt. It's a very short and simple one, so you shouldn't have any trouble modifying it. One design style that is definitely pretty popular at the moment is designs that include flowers, specifically wildflowers. Have seen a bit of an uptick, and that's why I want to share a prompt with you that kind of goes into that theme. So here we've got kind of a merge of a woman's silhouette and wildflowers as the hair, which I think could be very interesting for some more simplistic Mother's Day designs, or just general designs aimed at women, mums, anything that you can think of. Here we've got rooted and wild as text. text that isn't really the greatest phrase, but the intention is for you to change these prompts anyways and apply them to whichever phrases you come up with or whichever niches you want to enter. But yeah, I think the font style definitely matches the design as well. It's very simplistic and interesting. Just you can even kind of vectorize this with just one color. That could probably also work. You don't even have to make it, multicolor like in some of these cases, and then you kind of have a very monochromatic design, which has been doing well anyway these days. So check this out. Also notice that the style right here changes. Usually I generate with auto, and then it puts out 2 general styles, which I think the general ones right here actually look a little bit better than the design style ones. These are a little bit more complex or complicated in this prompt, in this example. So I actually prefer the general style for this prompt. For prompt number 7, I wanted to give you something that features the American flag, because July the 4th, Independence Day, it's on the horizon. I know it's still a little bit out, but it doesn't hurt getting prepared for that holiday because American flag themed designs sell very well anyways. This creates a very nice old-fashioned look with these texture effects right here that cut into the design, and you can easily change out the subject. There's only one instance of Bigfoot right here within the prompt, and then you should have the same style just with a different subject. So yeah, if you want to get prepared early for Independence Day, this is a prompt that you can use as a basis. And yeah, I would also recommend coming up with some designs that have phrases in them. If you want to have more space to add a phrase, maybe generate this at a different resolution, so you've got some more space on the top or the bottom. Or you could also amend the prompt to say that you want the actual flag to be in a horizontal format rather than this kind of portrait vertical format. Prompt number 8 is another one that has floral patterns or themes within it, which I see a lot of potential in, especially right now leading up to Mother's Day. And this gets some really cool looking results if you have kind of smaller, like single word designs. Yeah, you could definitely test this out right here. I wouldn't do this with like an entire phrase for sure, but also notice how the style is significantly different based on the style preset right here again. So that's something that you have to be careful with. Sometimes the results are very similar, like just then with the American flag, I didn't really notice much of a difference, but here when we have the general style selected, this doesn't look good at all, in my opinion, at least not for t-shirt design. These results are a lot better and a lot more easy to read, and that is the design style being selected right here. So if you're going to use this prompt, I would personally recommend using the design style instead of general. Next up, we've got a music themed prompt of a saxophone right here, and I'm not sure why I rarely have music themed designs on my channel, but I think this result looks really interesting because we've got a saxophone exploding into colorful sound waves and abstract shapes, which actually created a very interesting style right here. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the abstract floral patterns that we see trending quite a lot in political niches, but here it's kind of a different interpretation for a musical niche. In this case, I also think that once again the style really matters. So I'm not a big fan of the results with the design style applied right here, whereas the general style I think looks a lot better. So you always have to test out which style gives me the better result. It's not always very obvious. Sometimes you would assume, general is going to look worse, design is going to look better, but then it's actually the other way around. It's also a bit of personal preference. Maybe you see this and you think this actually looks the best, but I think this is a very nice result right here. Obviously, it's not just a music niche kind of prompt. You can also apply this to other niches if you want this kind of abstract style right here, which definitely looks very intriguing. Another prompt to help you out for Independence Day or general more patriotic niches. In this case, we've got red, white, and moo, and we've got more of a horizontal flag attached to that style. So here you've got the combination of a flag and a bit of text all together in one prompt. And it's very easy, simple to make changes to this, and it creates a great output regardless of whether you have the general style or the design style selected. Nice simplistic silhouettes in both of them. Actually, there's a little more detail in the general style. Notice that how the cow is more detailed right here, whereas in design it is a very, very simplistic silhouette in comparison to that. But besides that, the general, like the style of the flag and the text, doesn't really change much, so you get a good result in both cases. So yeah, I hope this prompt helps you out to generate some of those evergreen sales, but also hopefully have a spike around July the 4th, Independence Day. And for those of you that like the very simple one-color retro illustrations that have been trending, here's a prompt that you can use for that style. And it starts off with a hand-drawn vintage Western t-shirt design graphic, and then we've got a raccoon right here dressed up as a cowboy, which you can obviously change to many different things, but it tends to be raccoons and possums that kind of seem to do the best with this style for some reason, maybe because they are trending animals. But besides that, you can use this style for other graphics as well, for many different different niches and amend this prompt right here to your own needs. Speaking of this prompt, you can get this one and all of the other ones as a free PDF download. It will be the first link in the description. It should take you to my website where you can just enter your email address and you will get it for free, so you can easily copy and paste these prompts and use them in your own workflow. Let me know in the comments what you think of this new version of Ideogram now that you've had a few days of testing it. Do you think it's an improvement? Do you think 2.0 still gets better results in some cases? Or do you generally think that there is other AI tools and models out there that are just better for print on demand? Leave all of your opinions down below, and if you want to learn one of the easiest methods to sell your designs on Etsy, make sure to check out this tutorial next.